I know how you feel, it's not easy to move on from a monumental game like Silksong, but trust me, it's time. So I got 10 games you just have to play after Silksong, and I'm sure you'll be very surprised by some of my recommendations. But I guarantee you, these are all bangers. Let us all know what you recommend to play next, and let's get cracking. When I think of Hollow Knight, I think of its difficulty, and if that's what you like in Metroidvanias, then there is no way around 9 Souls. This is a brutal Metroidvania, both in its presentation and combat difficulty. But most importantly, it's something truly special. Combat is focused around parrying attacks, which often feels a lot like a 2D Sekiro, and that makes for some of the most intense combat encounters and challenging boss fights I've ever experienced. Besides attacking with the sword and parrying attacks, you can also attach an explosive talisman to do massive damage. And that's pretty much it combat-wise, but that's also the beauty of it. Mastering the very limited possibilities is definitely key, and doing so is just so satisfying. Movement gets more fluid and faster with every new ability you get, which actually makes combat feel increasingly dynamic. I think you should play this after Silksong, because if you like games that build on being relentless and unique experience resolving from this, 9 Souls is just perfect for you. Trust me, this is a very special game. Sometimes we all need to take a break though, but still fall back on something familiar. So why not try Islets, which is also Metroidvania, but quite the opposite to Silksong. It's colorful, quirky, charming, and quite short compared to the beast that is Silksong. In Islets, it's all about reconnecting the worlds split into several sky islands. Doing so actually changes the map layout, which is pretty cool and makes the world feel very much alive. Where this game truly shines is its movement. The further you progress and the more abilities you get, the faster and smoother the movement gets, up until the point where you feel like you're flying across the map. It's also the opposite to Silksong in regards to its difficulty, so if you still want to play Metroidvanias but without the pain of trying to beat a boss over and over again, then Islets is a very good choice. Bosses are challenging, but if you got through Silksong, this game is a piece of cake for you. So yeah, Islets is the perfect counterpart to Hollow Knight, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for something completely different. I assume you played Silksong because Hollow Knight is one of the best Metroidvanias ever made. Then I got good news, because Ender Magnolia is just that, one of the best Metroidvanias of all time. That's because it keeps the focus on its unique mechanics while keeping just the right things simple. The combat itself is centered around equipping different spirit skills from enemies you've defeated, and each one feels meaningful and viable, so there's a real sense of experimentation. Since you can unlock different versions of the same spirit skill that play super differently, you get loads of options to approach combat, so it never really gets boring. It feels a bit like you never get bored when you hit subscribe to never miss any of my videos. The movement is incredibly fluid, with air dashes and parries that make you feel super agile as you explore. Oh, and exploration feels awesome, as there are tons of secret paths to uncover and items to find that are actually useful. All of this results in a balanced and perfect mix of combat, exploration, and fun platforming, which means the devs absolutely nailed the Metroidvania formula. And the soundtrack is one of the best of the year. You absolutely have to listen to it. So if it's simply excellence you're looking for after Silksong, you have to play Ender Magnolia. So let's talk about a game very much inspired by Hollow Knight in a lot of its nuances. Lone Fungus is a Metroidvania that might look a bit weird at first considering you play Mushroom, but trust me, this is one of the best games in the genre. The inspiration from Hollow Knight range from subtle things like the bounce back when you attack an enemy, to more obvious things like the optional platforming challenges reminiscing of the Path of Pain, only shorter and better manageable. Where Lone Fungus truly shines though is its diverse and enormous world, and the feeling of evolving from a helpless to a powerhouse of a mushroom. There are so many tools and abilities to obtain, and therefore so many different ways to play and things to utilize, the variety is incredible. And since the world is packed with secrets, treasures and optional stuff to find, the exploration is fun from start to finish. Lone Fungus is a rather easy game, which could be a really nice contrast despite its clear Hollow Knight inspiration. I would keep recommending this because Lone Fungus is truly underrated and one of my personal favorites in the genre. I know, watching this gameplay for just a couple of seconds makes you wonder why I recommend this, because this is so far away from Silksong. But that's exactly why I think you'll love this. Mini Shoot Adventures is a wild mix of different genres. It's a twin-stick shooter but also a Zelda-like and a Metroidvania. So you explore this overworld, find secrets and upgrades for your cute little ship, and it feels very Metroidvania-like. All the meaningful abilities are obtained in the dungeons, which is the Zelda-like part of this game. I guess you could just call it either one, but whatever. So what this game has in common with Silksong is A, both are Metroidvanias, and B, the sense of accomplishment. While in Silksong, accomplishment comes from overcoming challenge after challenge and improving your skill, in Mini Shoot Adventures, that's a different story. Here it's all about upgrading your ship from this cute and harmless thing to a tiny war machine that fires hundreds of bullets in seconds. It's just so satisfying. Give this one a try, it's simply one of the most fun indie games I've ever played. Now back to games that can be compared to Silksong more directly. Blasphemous 2 is one of my favorite Metroidvanias for so many reasons, and I think you love this too. Again, if the challenge and difficulty is what you like about Silksong, Blasphemous 2 is a very good follow-up. It offers some of the most well-designed bosses in the genre that requires you to learn the attack patterns, master your weapons, and nail every move. The 3 weapons not only work as powerful tools for the brilliant fast-paced and challenging combat, but also for the platforming sections and puzzles. That fusion, combined with the great movement abilities, create a deeply satisfying exploration. But also, there are so many secrets and items to find, which makes Blasphemous 2 one of the most rewarding Metroidvanias. At this point I feel like Blasphemous 2 is an overlooked indie game, despite its perfect execution of the Metroidvania formula. Definitely check this one out after Silksong, it's a fantastic game. Now this is the only game on this list that is not an indie game because it's made by a Ubisoft studio, but it's also a Metroidvania. Man, this is just pure joy to play. It's the same as with Anna Magnolia. If excellency is what you're looking for, then you absolutely can't go wrong with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. But frankly, it's also very different compared to Silksong. While the Hollow Knight sequel builds on the experience of being lost and the relief of satisfaction of reaching the next checkpoint, Prince of Persia is the opposite, and honestly, that feels great. The map is easy to uncover, everything is very detailed, and then there's this wonderful feature that lets you take a photo, which is automatically placed on the map. That way you can easily track where to go back after getting a new ability or tool. Admittedly, that makes exploration very easy, but this feature is completely optional. Combat, on the other hand, is very intense, with stylish combos and fast-paced encounters, fantastic bosses, great and fun abilities, dodges, parries, and so much more. It's easily one of the best combat I've seen in a 2D game. Prince of Persia is very different compared to Silksong, but that's exactly why you should play this. It's phenomenal. Okay, let me explain. You probably played Silksong, locked yourself away for a couple of days or even weeks, and got fully invested in this game. Now that you finished it, I think it's time to reconnect with people, and there's no better way to do that than playing one of the most underrated and best co-op games. The gameplay gimmick is that both players control one cute robot, and each stick controls one of its legs. So managing that becomes one continuous and hilarious pain and results in some of the funniest situations I've ever had with a video game. That way you have to solve physics-based puzzles and actually work together in basically every single situation. Some levels test your brain, others your skill, and every single one of them is designed brilliantly. I think this could be such a great contrast to Silksong for you, so grab a friend you neglected because of Silksong and play Biped. You'll have a great time. If you played Silksong, it might not even be about it being a Metroidvania for you. You may be just looking for the best indie games of the year, and if that's the case, you absolutely have to play Fretless. This is an RPG about music. You equip your character with different instruments like an acoustic guitar or bass, modify them with new strings, pickups and more, and fight monsters in rhythmic turn-based combat. The customization is surprisingly deep and allows for completely different playstyles, and the combat itself is just perfect. You collect riffs that all do something different in battle, like attacking and healing. Every riff requires you to learn its timing, because if you nail it, attacks get stronger, healing is more efficient, that kind of stuff. It's simply so much fun. The music is brilliant, your humor is great, characters are charming, and everything just feels like it was made with love. Honestly, this is one of my favorite games of the year so far and one of the best indie games I've played in years. So if you'd just like to continue playing fantastic indie games after Silksong, give Redless a chance. Constance isn't even out yet, but I have to talk about it here because this is the perfect game to play after Silksong because it's inspired by Hollow Knight and Celeste. You play Constance, a paintress equipped with a giant brush and on a quest to face her mental health problems. Just like Hollow Knight and Celeste, Constance is all about precise platforming and challenging level design. All of Constance's abilities consume paint, so simply spamming them isn't going to work. Instead, you have to carefully plan how to get from point A to B without running out of paint. Of course, this recovers a couple of seconds later, but not until your feet touch the ground. The charm system from Hollow Knight inspired Constance's talisman-like ability system, so you probably feel right at home here. I already talked about this game countless times on the channel, because I'm pretty sure this will be the next big Metroidvania surprise hit. This comes out on November 24th, and I'm super excited to play this. If you don't believe me, just check out the demo on Steam. Now tell me, which of these 10 games will you play after Silksong? Or maybe something else entirely? Let us all know in the comments and hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video and found some new games to play today. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.